Hi, friends. Hello, the world. Welcome back to the episode of Tools for Transitioning Humanitarians. I'm your host, Vesela Molova, and I'm going to talk to you today about I have transitioned to a paradise, and it still does not feel like paradise, right? So, this is the topic that I want to talk about. And before I do that, I wanted to just keep you updated on what's going on in my life in terms of traveling and meeting people in person and doing workshops in person. So next week, well, actually, end of this week, I am traveling to Switzerland, to Geneva, to attend a Call Foundation Inner Development Goals Forum, and it's going to be attended by about 200 people. And another exciting thing is I will be doing two workshops at the forum for about 60 people. So I'm so excited about, and I'll be talking about emotions, using emotions to live consciously. So I'm so excited about to go to Switzerland because the first time I went to Geneva, Switzerland, I went for an internship and I was so much into refugee studies and I wanted to get to know UNHCR at the time. And this was more than 20 years ago. And it used to be me struggling to um, study at the same time, find an apartment and not being able to afford anything. And it was a lot of those things. So every time when I go to Switzerland now, I went there obviously as part of my humanitarian work a lot of the times. And now as a person who's not working for UN anymore and still going and doing workshops for them, it just feels so amazing to do that and to be able to tell myself that I like keep those memories of how it was amazing and challenging at the time and how things can change as well. Whether I work for UN or I don't work for UN, and I'm loving to do this. So that's why if you happen to be in Geneva or around, so I would love to also get to know you and get to meet you in person this year. My goal is to meet so many people in person. I have done this so much in Germany and I want to now do that in Switzerland. So I would love to hear from you if that's you. Okay. So now let me go to talk about my topic of I have transitioned to paradise and it still is not what I thought it would be and what to do about it, right? So I have several clients who have transitioned to where they wanted to go to. One in Scandinavia, another is in Western Europe, another is in Africa, in Kenya. Another one is in uh, Burundi, and another one is in forgetting Thailand. So okay, you can see that a lot of different places that they really wanted to move to, they wanted to live in those places, whether this is their home or this is the country that they have chosen, and they have decided to stay within the humanitarian sector. Some of them have left the sector and started something on their own. And I can see this theme that keeps happening where they feel like, okay, they are back home or they are in a country that they have chosen. They oftentimes have their own places and some of them have relationships, others don't, and wanted to build that relationship. They really wanted to spend more time balancing work with their personal life and they wanted to socialize more and create relationships and do the impact at the same time feel like they have all this other parts of their lives going on, right? And then they feel, oh no, it's not how I thought it would be, right? And this is after maybe 2 months, after several years, and this struggle keeps happening of to a point that they tell me that I'm not even going to the gym, even though when I used to be in the field duty station, I used to go to the gym every day. I used to socialize people with people every day. I would have a lot of life outside of work, even though it wasn't really like planned or maybe, but still it was a lot more than what I'm doing now. I used to travel more when I was in the field than I'm doing now, right? So it really feels like going to another like place that we have decided to settle in, and we just go there, and then it just does not feel like the same way. If anything, we have shrunk a lot of the things, right? If anything, we didn't socialize enough, or we don't want to do that anymore. We feel like we don't really fit in, or we don't really, like one of my clients was saying that he feels very boring in front of others, or when he socializes with others, and therefore he doesn't even want to go and socialize anymore. He feels like at work, the great, excuse me, a stable organization, also a stable environment where he really wanted to go and work, and then he feels like he's not really part of it anymore, or he doesn't feel belonging to that environment, and therefore it just feels like um, staying at home and obsessing over how this could happen, why it's happening. This is not how it's supposed to be. And this is where a lot of those clients are, and what to do with that, right? What to do with this situation. And if this is you, I would love to offer you the perspective of what can be done about it and how to start changing that, right? How to start changing however the way we want to feel in the new place, and why are we not feeling that way, the way that we thought we would feel, and then what to do about it. This is the topic of today's podcast. So first thing first is we need to address is when we go back home, or when we go to live in a country that we have chosen, notice that first we have a lot of the emotions that we are very addicted to from back in the field, and we need to start uncovering and unraveling those emotions, because our brains tend to produce the same emotions based on the environment that we're in, that we just habitually tend to then keep reproducing the same emotions. And a lot of the times in the field environment, we tend to have a lot of the adrenaline, a lot of the reaction to things, a lot of survival. And those are very addictive emotions that we have not really recognized that they were addictive, because back in field duty station, those were very useful emotions, right? Those were emotions that would keep us going, no matter how tired we are, no matter what's happening, we would just continue going. And therefore, now that we are in a stable environment, let's say, or we are in an environment where we no longer are required to keep reacting to things, and if anything, we're very, like, we are urged to plan things and systemically look at things and build things, and we are simply not used to doing that because our emotions have always been on the survival. And now we need to shift those emotions to the thriving environment, or to the environment where we are proactively deciding what to do and how to do things. And that may feel unusual, uncomfortable, not really used to for many of us. So that's why we need to start shifting our mindset of how we kept creating the same emotions of addictive emotions. And now we need to create new types of emotions. And the only way we can do that is if we can recognize and let go of the addictive emotions first, right? So that's why we need to have the awareness of, okay, what are the belief systems, what are the thoughts that keep creating these addictive emotions, and how can we shift those thoughts so that we no longer keep producing the same type of emotions. So some of the thoughts or beliefs, which are beliefs are the same as thoughts, except the beliefs are so um, repeated so many times that we don't recognize as belief. We just recognize as being our reality, right? So that's why we don't really question it. So some of the beliefs that we have been so used to, that we have worked with these clients, are the thoughts about how everything is temporary, that I don't need to settle. I'm just here for a period of time. That's what the mindset that we have always had when we were in duty stations one to another one, right? So that's why we need to shift that mindset of it being temporary, but rather this is where I'm settling, this is where I want to settle, and how settling feels like, and how I want to settle in this environment that is opposite of being temporary. Another belief system that we need to change is it's going to be better there than here. And I think this is something that many of us humanitarians have been trained, um, or not even humanitarians. I think this is a very human condition that we tend to believe that somewhere else is better than here. That's why we keep chasing for the big titles, the big money, or the big privileges, or the big impact, whatever it is, so that we believe that then we will feel XYZ that we're not feeling currently, right? And that belief needs to change as well, because as long as we keep searching for it is better there than here, then we're not going to be living where we are now. And that, unfortunately, the belief is so strong in many of us as humanitarians, because we used to believe back in the day when we were in the especially non-family duty station, right? We would just consider it a temporary thing. We would do our best. At the same time, we would just say that, well, when I go to the next thing, then it will be different. Then I will do XYZ things, other things. But here I don't need to do that because it's temporary. And therefore, we just kept believing that once we go to the other thing, it will be all magic and beautiful. Except life does not happen that way, right? Life is always, or most of the time, is half of the time it's amazing, and half of the time it's a challenge that we need to solve. This is just life is, no matter whether we're living in the war zone or whether we're living um, in the peaceful environment, right? So therefore, I think we have never really recognized that as much, and therefore we are believing that, oh, all of the things that I expected to be here, all of the how I should feel, all amazing and glamorous, and have fulfilling job and fulfilling life and creating amazing relationships. I thought that's what it was supposed to be, and this is not. And what am I going to do? And we start panicking, right? And that's obviously not useful or needed, because if we keep panicking, then we just keep perpetuating that belief that it was supposed to be different than it is, and we start resisting our current reality. So therefore, the other belief that we need to address, beside it being better there than here, the other belief we need to address that this is not how it's supposed to be, right? This is not what we thought it would be. And again, why do we believe that this is not how it's supposed to be? Is because we have always believed that it should be better there than here. And accepting all of this, that it's not going to be better there than here, what if it is actually up to us how to make it better, and we can make it as better as we want to, but we can just keep in the panicky mode and in the resistance mode, or in the this is not what I signed up for mode. Because if we keep rejecting and refusing what we have currently, then we're not going to want to be here, and we're going to be wanting to chase for another thing somewhere else, and we keep searching and chasing for something else and never finding it, right? So that's why our great challenge, at the same time, our great opportunity for us to not only accept where we are now, what we're building, and accepting that it will be not temporary, but rather as long as we want it to be, accepting that we will have challenges and we know how to solve those challenges, are the work that we need to do where we have landed, right? So that's the big part of acceptance piece, that accepting all of the emotions that come up, the addictive emotions that we need to uncover and learn more about, and then feeling also uncomfortable about it, but at the same time accepting that we're no longer in the survival mode, therefore we are in the settling mode. And settling doesn't need to be boring. Settling doesn't need to be I stop socializing. Settling doesn't need to be I just don't do anything, which is so not what we want, right? Rather, recognizing that we are so used to one set of emotions when we are in the field, now we are generating and creating new set of emotions. And the way that we create it by shifting those belief systems, changing those identities of I'm now someone who is settling and wanting the relationships, wanting socialization, wanting regular gym or whatever else we want. I am in the process of building that, and how can I build that? Right. So that would be one big topic to address is intentionally creating the things that we want to and allowing space for all the addictive emotions that we continued having for a long time and now leaving our bodies, leaving our systems so that we no longer continue creating the same type of emotions, right? So that's the big part of it that we want to do it. Another part that I think we are not really working on is the part about building immediately, right? So because we are so much in the resistance of how this is not how I thought it would be, or these are not the emotions I want, or these are the emotions I want, but I don't have them, because we are so much in disbelief of, oh my God, is this really what I have traded my lifestyle for? And my lifestyle before was better than here, or glamorizing it in some ways, or um like struggling or having conflict with it as we keep doing that, then obviously we don't really prioritize building relationships, building or rebuilding or building, right? Relationships, work environment, or impact, or restructuring the way we want to, planning, whatever it is. We don't really tend to spend a lot of time on building. And that is so crucial for us to commit to our decision and making our decision work in the way that we want to. We want to start building, especially new things, new relationships, new ways of communicating, new ways of talking to people, new ways of, or maybe we really want to now be really authentic ourselves and have those relationships, have those impacts, whatever it is. That's really the building part that we really want to work on. And that can already happen even before we transition there. But if we haven't done that, we can start doing it after we start transitioning. And that part we need to work on in parallel to processing all of the other emotions that are going on in our lives. And if we don't do that, then our brain keeps saying that what's the point of being here if we're just struggling, right? What's the point of being here when we don't have the adrenaline? And in those moments, we need to really be clear with ourselves where we are putting our value to, right? Because obviously, the reason why we transitioned is we valued stability. The reason why we transitioned might be because we valued relationships. Maybe the reason why we transitioned because we valued our lives outside of work, right? Whatever it is that we valued because of which we transitioned, now we continue valuing those things, because in the moment when our addictive emotions come up and they overwhelm us or they invade us, like one of my clients used to say, when those emotions start happening, it's very easy for us to then continue putting value to adrenaline, continue putting value to just keep reacting and to keep surviving. And that comes like our emotions are so strong that they tend to urge us to just go back to what we know best or go back to what we're so addicted to, right? And in those moments, it's important where our values are. What what are the things we value most now? What are the things we're putting our value to? And if those are the relationships, if those are feeling settled, if those are feeling in one place and accepting and being there and accepting ourselves and our situation and creating something that we really wanted to create, if we don't focus on that more and put our value more to that, then it's very likely that our addictive emotions want to hijack us to what we know. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that I'm seeing currently is with some of the amazing clients that I have helped to transition to the life they want to, and it feels like they are already, like, some of them are great. They have great jobs. Other of them, they have the great relationships, right? But they still feel like something is missing. And when you are having this feeling of something is missing, think about what is it that is missing, and if that is the feeling that you're chasing, and the feeling of survival, or feeling of emergency, or feeling of reaction to things, feeling of just being so useful and being so important, or whatever it is, if you are feeling like that's what's missing, then ask yourself, is this where you are putting your value to? Is this what you are valuing? Or is this the value, or the thing that you're valuing is actually your well-being, emotional well-being, your healthy relationships with other people, your healthy relationships with work, your healthy relationship with creating impact, your healthy relationship with community, whatever it is, or these are the things that you are valuing, right? Because a lot of the times humanitarians want to transition and go to living the life they want to, is because they really want to value that deep connecting relationships. They want to value their emotional, mental health over keep surviving. They value um, spending time with their loved ones while also doing the thing they love. These are the things they value, right? So therefore, notice when your brain wants to hijack you with feelings, the emotions that you're so addicted to. You need to really be honest with yourself and say, is that really the long term that I'm really valuing or not? Right? Is this the feeling that I'm valuing long term, of surviving or of adrenaline, or the feeling of fulfillment with deep connections? And also, possibly that means having a look at all the emotions that I'm trying to avoid by just going to the field and then not think about them, right? So that's why you need to really be like honest with yourself to, or onto yourself to look at, okay, what is it that I'm putting my value on? What is the thing that I'm valuing the most? And let me go and create and build that instead of being hijacked by addictive emotions. So this is really the message. So if you would like to work on this and really get to shifting those mindsets, the belief systems, to get to, okay, this is, I'm going to continue following what I value and building that, what I value, in the place that I choose, and learn how to not keep reacting to my addictive emotions and feeling a victim of those emotions, then absolutely come coach with me. I would love to help you get to a place where you enjoy feeling settled, having the stability, having healthy relationships with yourself, with the people around you, as well as building what you really want long term. This is what I would love to help you. So have a beautiful week, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this with you, and I will talk to you very soon.